welcome back. Jeff Heggie, Daily Success Strategies. Thanks for being with me today. I'm anxious to share this with you today. I've got an incredible interview with a world champion athlete that I've just been excited about this interview, plus being able to share it with everybody. Now, this athlete is Tyson Durfey, world champion tie-down roper. He's made the NFR 14 times. So for you that aren't in the rodeo world, he's an incredible athlete, done some amazing things, and I'm really excited to talk about these things and share other episodes down the road with you because we had such a great interview. But today what I want to share with you is the things he talks about, and this is applicable to high school athletes, college athletes, professional athletes, entrepreneurs, coaches, whatever it is. This isn't just applicable to cowboys. This is applicable to so many people that are trying to achieve their goals and get to another level. But we're going to talk about the things that it takes to be world class, to be a world champion. And he's going to talk about some of those things, and he just shares some valuable information. So listen to this and I'll be right back with you.
I'll tell you one thing that I've studied, most professionals, if you guys have ever read the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, it talks about, putting in 10,000 hours of practice. Now, the average world champion puts in the average professional puts in 10,000 hours of practice. And, I took that a step further. I'm like, well, if the average professional puts in 10,000 hours of practice, well, how many hours does the average world champion put in? And so I started doing all this research and looking around. And believe it or not, there's not a lot of research on that specific topic, but I did find a number. The average world champion puts in about 20,000 hours of practice. Okay. But it goes above and beyond just the practice. It's self-image. It's how you look at yourself, right? And it's how you get confidence. And the way that I got confidence might be different than other people. I grew up from, my dad was raised by a World War II vet. So they were like really, really, tough, and they believed in building you up by tearing you down. So that was kind of like the strategy to make you tough and get you prepared for the world. So I had a lot of stuff to get confidence. Like I had to practice hard to have confidence. My parents didn't instill confidence in me as a child. So I found my confidence by putting in that practice. And to this day, right now, I'm about 32,000 hours of practice for what I do. And I don't know if you look at multiple time world champions, I'm probably behind, how many gold buckles you get or world champions you get with that many hours of practice. But so what I did was in high school, I was like, okay, my dad told me, he's like, you're not going to make it if you don't put in this much work. I'm like, okay, well, let's just put in that much work. Let's put in that much work. What does that look like? All right. So I get up at 4:30 to 5 o'clock in the morning. I practice my flanking and tying and my riding before I go to school. Okay. I go to school. I get out of school. I need to make money to pay for all this because rodeo, as you know, is not a rich man's game to start with, or for most people, right? So I'm like, okay, I need to make money. So how am I going to fuel the money to pay the entry fees, to pay the travel, to pay all this stuff? Okay, I'm going to shoe horses. I'm going to be diligent at it, and I'm going to save my money all the way through high school. Okay, so I did that. So every day I got out of school, I'd go shoot 2 or 3 horses and make $100 to $300, depending on how hard I worked. I call it like the immigrant edge. Like that's how my mindset worked. So I made 100. I only spent $10 a day, and I was very ready. $10 a day, and I got to save this other money. And so when I graduated high school, I had thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of practice, and then also had the money as well. And then after I got done chewing the horses each day, I would go home and I would practice till about 11 o'clock at night, sometimes midnight. Like that's just my family. We work really, really hard. And people say, well, that can't be right. Well, didn't you go to high school dances, or didn't you go to prom, or didn't you go to football games? And the answer for me was no. I didn't go to one single high school football game, not one single high school basketball game. I didn't go to prom. I didn't go to any dances. I just worked. Like I worked. Now, that's my path. That's not the path for everybody. I had a lot of catching up to do because I didn't believe in myself. If I made a mistake, I would spend an hour beating myself up, telling myself I was stupid, that I was no good, that I wasn't going to make it, because that's the habit that I learned from my parents, from my dad, right? That's how he motivated himself. And I didn't realize that world champions don't look at things that way. right? You got to build and have sustainable confidence that takes you through the valleys and the peaks. And for me, the way that I got that was the amount of practice that I put in. I felt like I actually deserved more than the other competitors. So when I'd go to a competition, I'd say, all right, none of these other guys woke up at 5 o'clock and put 2 hours in before they went to school. None of these other guys went on 4 hours of sleep last night or 5 hours of sleep last night. None of these other guys had to go shoe 3 horses every single day for the last 4 years to be at this rodeo. And so I began to build myself up that way. And it's kind of part of my, I call it my pregame prep routine. It's building myself up to really seat that confidence in my mind, saying, okay, you deserve this more than anybody else because you've grinded and worked so hard. Now, like I said, that does not work for everybody, and you don't have to do it just like I did it, but that's what got me to that point where, you know what, I believe in myself. I can do it. I'm going to go do this.
You know, that's awesome. It reminds me of another world champion, Michael Phelps. He talks about, you know, in the swimming world, they practice hard. They go 5 days a week. 6 days a week. Mm-hmm. Well, doing that in the swimming world, takeoff is like 2 steps back. So you're on Monday, you're starting over again. So he was going 7 days a week, looking at it as the same way. No one else is doing what I'm doing. So that's where my confidence is coming from. And he also, I remember listening in the Compound Effect, Darren Hardy talks about Michael Phelps having a big memory of, he actually got off practice a little bit early one day so he could go to a high school dance. I mean, so yeah, you've got to sacrifice. And, you know, as I talk to high school athletes and we talk about the 10,000 hours, I don't think it really clues in until you start putting it into perspective. I mean, if you look at, did you say 32,000 hours?
That's where I'm at right now. Yep.
So that's 4,000 8-hour days. Yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that
it is, but one thing I go back to, like the 10,000 hours for the people that I mentor, it's a goal, but it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. Right. So it's not like, oh man, I'm at hour 122. I only got 9,800. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lifestyle. It becomes who you are, and it embodies everything that you do. And you know what? If you love what you do, it doesn't matter. And that's another topic that's so important. You know, Michael Phelps, he grinded. And I remember reading his book like 10 years ago, and, you know, he's winning all these gold buckles and doing all this amazing stuff. And he's winning by like 1,000th of a second. Like, it's not like he's winning by 0.3 of a second. You know what I'm saying? So if he hadn't have put in that extra work, that dieting, that stretching, that swimming, those hours in the pool, in the gym, like, he could have easily ended up second. And I hate to say it, but the only person that remembers second place is the person that got it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And because I've been there so many times, I've been on the cusp of winning a world championship 5 times. And the ones that hurt the most are the ones where I was so close and fell short, you know?
Hey, thanks, Tyson. I really appreciate that. I hope y'all can listen to that and realize, you know, whatever your goals are, whatever you're trying to achieve, whether you're an entrepreneur, a coach, an athlete, a cowboy, whatever it is, those goals that you have, how bad do you want them, and what are you willing to do to achieve those goals? You know, are you willing to put the 10, 20, 32,000 hours in to achieve your dreams? If you're a high school athlete right now and you've got dreams of making it big, what is your commitment? Are you willing to give up the things that you need to really focus on your goals? And like Tyson said, you know, it's not for everybody. You can be an exceptional athlete. You can be an exceptional entrepreneur without that commitment level. But if you really want to be world class, if you want to be a world champion, there is another commitment level that you've got to be able to say, yes, that's what I'm going to do because I love it, because I want to do it. And so thanks, Tyson. I've got more of these episodes coming. We had such a great conversation and he shared so much valuable information. I can't wait to share them all with you. So stay tuned for those. I'll be sharing those, but make sure to go follow Tyson on all his social media. He's got great content that he adds there as well. I'll make sure everything's in the show notes, and check out the programs he has. You know, there's No Limit Mentoring. He's got a program coming up soon, TDX, that will be outstanding. But please go follow him, and I look forward to sharing more of this with you. As for my stuff, if you want to find out more about the High Achievers Mindset Secrets, please go check that out at mindset.jeffheggie.com. But do me a big favor right now, share this with someone else that needs to hear this message, that needs to look at how they're going to get to the next level and understand how a world champion thinks and the things that they do. So thanks again for being with me, and I'll see you tomorrow.